You've done everything for a woman. Cared for her, complimented her, texted her every day, listened to her problems, even tried to be the perfect man. And yet, without warning, she started to cool off. The interest disappeared. The replies became short. The desire to be close, which once seemed so clear, vanished. And worst of all, you don't even know where you went wrong. The truth is, this happens to many men. And do you know why? Because something invisible is happening behind the scenes in the female mind. Something that kills desire without her even realizing it. And in this video, I'm going to reveal exactly what that is. A silent, subtle mistake that destroys attraction almost automatically. Most men make this mistake thinking they're doing the right thing. And that's precisely what makes it so dangerous. I'm not talking about cheating, lying, or being disrespectful. I'm talking about something that seems noble, but which deep down is what drives women away the most. Being too nice. Being predictable. Always being there. And before you think, but isn't that the right thing to do? I invite you to stay until the end, because what you're about to hear can completely change how you behave in a relationship. There's a psychology behind female attraction that few men understand. And when you don't understand how it works, you end up being rejected even with the best intentions. What I'm going to show you here is the real reason why she looks at you as a friend and not as an irresistible man. The reason why she responds coldly to you while chasing after guys who don't lift a finger for her. You need to understand. Desire isn't built on logic. Desire is emotion. And emotion comes from contrast, tension, and mystery. If you give everything at once, if you show that you're 100% available, if you do everything for her all the time, you're negating exactly what would spark her interest in you. And this is where most men fail. But calm down, it's not your fault. We grow up hearing that women like men who take care of them, who are affectionate, who do everything for them. That's not a lie, but it's not the whole truth either. Because yes, affection matters, but it needs to come from the right man, at the right time, with the right attitude. Otherwise, it becomes excessive. And excess always diminishes the value of anything. And that's what most people don't realize. The overly nice guy isn't admired. He's seen as emotional support, a backup plan, a backup. And the more he tries to please, the more she distances herself. Because deep down, what makes a woman feel attracted isn't ease, it's the perception of value. It's feeling that you're a man who has options, who values himself, who has an interesting life outside of her. This activates the instinct for competition, for conquest, and makes her see you in a different light. Now, you might be wondering, but how do I change this? How do I stop being the guy who always pleases and become the kind of man she truly desires? That's the turning point we're going to build together from now on. Because the next step I'm going to show you is what separates the men who are ignored from those who awaken deep desire, that desire that makes her think about you all the time, even without knowing why. But before I reveal the next step, the one that will completely change how you approach any woman, I want to make you an invitation, a commitment to change. Because if you've made it this far, it's because you know something needs to change. So comment below now, I will change. Write that down. It doesn't matter if you've made many mistakes, if you're lost, or if you're going through exactly this situation right now. This comment is more than just words. It's a sign that you're ready to take control of your love life. This movement is important because what we're creating here isn't just a video. It's a new mindset. It's about stopping acting like a man who begs for attention and starting to behave like a man who attracts attention naturally, without desperation, without forcing it, with self-confidence, with value, and with poise. And if you really want to experience this transformation process, if you want to stop being the forgotten guy and start being remembered as the man she can't ignore, then do the following. Leave your like now. This shows that you are committed to this content and helps this video reach other guys who also need to hear this. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because in the next videos, I'm going to show you how to completely turn the tables with real psychology-based techniques that awaken desire and respect at the same time. The journey is just beginning, and in the next step, I'll show you why female desire is driven by a force that most men completely ignore. An emotional force that, when understood and applied, makes her see you as unique, special, and indispensable. Get ready, because now the tide is about to turn for good. The truth that few men understand is simple. Female desire doesn't stem from logic, it stems from emotion. No matter how much you say you like her, how much you demonstrate good intentions, or how much you're doing everything right, if you don't activate specific emotions in her, especially those involving admiration, curiosity, and even a slight sense of challenge, desire won't arise. And worse, if it ever existed, it will disappear, not because she's cold or confused, but because your behavior killed the instinct of attraction without you realizing it. And this is where emotional tension comes in. This may sound strange at first, but listen carefully. Controlled emotional tension is what keeps a woman connected to you. It's what makes her look at you differently. It's what ignites that inner fire she can't explain. Emotional tension isn't about fighting. It's not about playing with her feelings disrespectfully. It's about maintaining mystery, value, and, above all, unpredictability at a level that makes her discover you little by little. This is part of the psychology of attraction. It's something unconscious. And when you learn to use it to your advantage, everything changes. Think about it. When was the last time you watched a movie that revealed everything in the first few minutes? Would you watch it until the end? Probably not. And do you know why? Because the desire to keep watching only exists when you have unanswered questions, when there's anticipation, when there's something you still don't know about the story. Now apply that to your love life. When you give yourself completely at once, when you answer everything immediately, when you're always available and predictable, you become that movie that gave everything away at the beginning. And unfortunately, most people stop watching. She needs to admire you before she feels desire. And admiration comes from your ability to be firm, to know your place, to not always say yes. It comes from your silence at strategic moments, from the way you look and don't need to say everything, from the way you conduct the conversation without trying to please all the time. That's powerful. That's magnetic. And that activates a part of the female brain that is purely emotional and subconscious. The same part that makes her think about you, even when she tries to ignore you. You don't need to pretend to be someone you're not. The game here isn't manipulation. It's about awakening emotions that are part of her biology. It's about learning to moderate your presence, to be interesting before being accessible, to provoke curiosity before offering certainties. Remember, the man who makes an impact is the one who manages to be intense without being invasive, who manages to touch her emotionally without having to try too hard. And that only happens when you have control over your energy, your time, and how you give yourself. The biggest trap is trying to win her over with excessive presence. When you invade all her space, you negate the space she needs to miss you. And look, this is much more common than you imagine. How many guys do you know who say, "I did everything for her and she just drifted away"? Precisely for that reason. Because doing everything for her, without balance, without magnetism, without creating emotional tension, transforms a man into something comfortable, but not exciting. And yes, there's a huge difference between being seen as a cool friend and as a man she intensely desires. Now pay attention to this. You need to become the kind of man she feels she needs to win over, not the one she already knows she can have at any moment. Because anything that's too guaranteed loses value. Anything that's too easy becomes mere scenery. And this isn't about playing hard to get, it's about becoming truly valuable. When she senses that you value yourself, that you have a rich emotional life, that you have plans, that you have bigger goals than chasing after her, she starts to wonder, what do I need to do to keep this guy interested? And that question, my friend, is the beginning of true desire. That's when the game changes. That's when you go from being just another nice guy to being seen as someone she wants to discover, understand, decipher. And that process is addictive. Not for you, for her. By the way, if this makes sense to you so far, Comment below now. She needs to admire me first. Write that sentence in your own way, in your own words, but write it down. Because this concept is what separates ordinary men from those who are remembered, desired, and valued. And if you are truly ready to change your behavior and enter this new level of awareness, also comment, emotional tension is key. These two sentences will be your commitment to this new mindset and will show me that you are part of this change. And now that you understand how desire is born from emotion and not logic, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn that perception to your advantage with practical steps that will completely transform the way she sees you. Even if today you think you've already lost control of the situation, now that you understand how female desire is fueled by emotion, tension, and admiration, it's time to act. And no, it's not with flowers, nor with exaggerated declarations, nor with more messages asking if she's okay. If you want a woman to desire you again, you need to change your emotional posture. And that starts with something that may seem simple, but is powerful: creating scarcity. The first thing you need to understand is that your excessive presence is killing her perceived value. The human brain values what is rare, what requires effort to achieve. And with women, this is even more intense. If she knows you'll respond in the first second, that you'll drop everything to see her, that you're always there waiting, her mind simply stops seeing you as a priority. Therefore, start by reducing your availability. Don't disappear, but be selective. Don't answer messages immediately. Don't say yes to everything. Don't offer yourself so much. Let her wonder where you are, what you're doing. This doubt, this psychological space, is where desire begins to grow again. The second step is for you to fully reclaim your life. And when I say that, it's not just about filling your time. It's about reconnecting with your purpose, your goals, with what makes you vibrate outside of any relationship. Men who have a rich life, full of objectives, automatically become more attractive because they aren't centering everything on a single person. They have options, they have priorities, they have a life happening. And that's extremely seductive because it conveys emotional independence. Start a new hobby, go back to the gym, focus on your project, improve your social circle. This shows, without words, that you are in control of your journey, and that kind of energy attracts. Now comes one of the most powerful and least used secrets: the power of silence and pause. Sometimes what has the greatest impact is what you don't say, what you leave hanging in the air, the time you're not around, strategic absence. And this isn't a game. This is emotional intelligence. You need to allow her to miss you. And nobody misses what's always there. When you disappear for a while, not out of anger, but for balance, you create the opportunity for her to start questioning, to remember you, to feel. And when she feels, she will act. Look, I know this seems difficult for many. The urge to text, to start a conversation, to try and resolve everything quickly is strong. But that's precisely why I'm going to propose a practical challenge to you now. And if you really want to turn this around, do it seriously. For the next 3 days, stop being so available. Don't text. Don't react to her stories. Don't look for any excuse to initiate contact. Instead, take care of your life. Nourish your focus, your body, your purpose, and just observe what happens. You'll see how the game starts to change, how she starts to reappear, how her gaze changes when you return with a firmer, more centered, more valuable posture. And perhaps most importantly, you'll realize you no longer need to chase after her, because when you change your energy, your presence begins to be felt, even in silence. If this resonated with you, if any part of this message touched you, comment below now. I choose value. Write that down. Mark this moment, because it's at this point that you stop being the guy who begs for attention and become the man who naturally attracts respect and desire. And also comment. 3 days of silence if you're going to take on this challenge. Let's see who here is truly committed to changing their reality in relationships.